The sun of Vorthar 9 burned red across the desert sky. The sand shimmered like fire, and even the air seemed alive with heat. In the middle of that endless heat stood Vara, a giantess, tall as a tower, strong as steel, and hotter than the desert itself. Her skin glowed faintly gold, her eyes burned orange like twin suns. The people of her world called her the Heat-born, the one who could melt metal with a touch. To them she was power, too big, too hot, too dangerous. And so she was alone. Every morning she stood guard near the deep mining pits where molten energy flowed beneath the surface. No one dared come close. Workers watched her from a distance, whispering. "Stay away from her," they said. No male survives her presence. Her body burns through armor. Her anger can crush a starship. Vara heard every whisper. She didn't respond. She only looked at the horizon, always waiting, though she didn't know for what. Sometimes when the wind blew cold, she imagined what it would feel like to touch without fear. No one had ever held her hand. No one had ever looked into her eyes without flinching, until that day. It started as a flash of light across the sky, a falling star breaking through the clouds. Vara's senses sharpened. She felt the crash far beyond the mining zone near the Black Ridge. The ground trembled. Smoke rose like a dark hand reaching for the heavens. She moved quickly, her giant steps shaking the sand. When she reached the crash site, she found something strange. A small, broken ship unlike anything her people built. It was smooth, silver, and cold, and near it, a figure, small, fragile, human. He was crawling out from the wreckage, coughing through smoke. His suit was torn, his oxygen mask cracked. Vara watched from the shadows of the rocks. Her eyes widened. She had never seen a creature so small, or so brave. The man looked up, blinking through the dust. He froze when he saw her. She expected the usual, fear, screams, running away. But instead, he smiled, just a small, tired smile. It confused her more than anything. She stepped closer, careful not to crush the ship. The heat from her body made the air shimmer. The man lifted a hand to shield his face from the glow. "You are real," he whispered, voice trembling. "You're beautiful." No one had ever called her that. Vara's heart, massive and burning, skipped a beat. Her voice came out like thunder. "You should run, human. My heat will destroy you." He shook his head slowly. "Then I'll take the risk." She had no words. None of her kind would ever say something so foolish, or so fearless. He tried to stand, but stumbled. Without thinking, Vara reached down to help him. Her hand, large as a vehicle, hovered near his body. The air between them sizzled, glowing gold. "Don't," she warned. "My touch burns." "Maybe not this time," he said softly. Her eyes met his. Blue, human eyes filled with something she hadn't seen in centuries. Kindness. The silence stretched. Wind howled through the broken ship. And for the first time in her life, Vara didn't feel like a monster. But then the ground beneath them cracked. An alarm screamed from the wreckage. The human's communicator blinked red, a signal reaching far across the stars. "Someone's coming," he said, panicked. "Your people?" she asked. He looked uncertain. "Maybe, or maybe yours." Vara turned her head toward the distant mining zone. She could already hear the rumble of patrol ships moving her way. They had seen the crash. They were coming to investigate. If they found him, they'd kill him on sight. If they found her helping him, they'd destroy her too. For a long second, she stared at him, this strange, small creature who dared to smile at her when all others ran. Something inside her decided. "Come," she said, lowering her hand. "Hide before it's too late." The human hesitated, then climbed onto her palm. His body trembled but didn't burn. Her heat dimmed, like her power itself was afraid to hurt him. As she carried him into the canyon shadows, the patrol lights flashed across the desert behind them. The sky thundered with the sound of engines, and the lonely giantess, who had lived all her life without touch or trust, was finally breaking the law of her kind and to save one human. The desert swallowed their footprints, and in that fiery world a forbidden story had begun. Night came fast on Vorthar 9. The twin moons rose over the red dunes, and the air turned heavy with heat and dust. Inside a deep canyon far from the mining camps, Vara hid among the black rocks, the human still resting in her hand. His name was Eli Marin. a pilot from the Terran expedition fleet. His small body looked fragile inside his broken suit, yet there was something strong in the way he breathed. Steady, unafraid. Even under the gaze of a creature who could crush him with one finger, Vara placed him gently on a flat stone. The ground under her palm hissed where her heat touched it. "Why didn't you run?" she asked, her voice low like a storm behind clouds. Eli looked up. "Because you didn't kill me." He smiled again, that same strange human smile that made her heart feel lighter and heavier at once. She frowned. "You don't understand. I could burn you alive just by standing too close." "Then maybe," Eli said softly. "You're not as dangerous as they say." Vara stared at him. Dangerous. That word had followed her since birth. But this human spoke it like a joke, like he didn't believe it. He shivered suddenly. The heat around her dropped a little. She had dimmed her fire to protect him. Without thinking, she wrapped her long metallic cloak around him, creating a shield from the night wind. The fabric glowed faintly red, yet he didn't pull away. "Thank you," he whispered. The signal far above the canyon, red lights flashed across the sky. Alien patrol ships were searching the desert. Vara could hear their scanners humming, a deep vibration that echoed inside her bones. "They will find your ship soon," she said. Eli nodded. "Then we move before they do." "You cannot survive the desert," she warned. "Neither can you hide forever," he replied. It shocked her. This human dared to argue with a heat-born warrior. On her planet, no male would ever raise his voice to her. Yet his words carried no fear, only honesty. She studied him closely. His hair was dark, his skin pale compared to hers, but his eyes were alive with curiosity. "Tell me," she said, "why are you here? Your kind never comes to this world." Eli hesitated. "I came to find something, energy crystals. The kind that Power Star drives. My fleet needed them. I didn't know this planet was yours." Vara's eyes narrowed. "You risked your life for fuel?" He smiled faintly. "For home." Something in that answer made her chest tighten. Home. A word she hadn't spoken in years. Her people respected only strength, not warmth, not comfort. Home for her was duty and silence. The discovery, as the patrol ships moved closer, Eli pointed toward a narrow tunnel at the side of the canyon. "We can hide there," he said. Vara crouched down, using her hands to clear boulders from the path. The ground shook as stones rolled away like pebbles. She motioned him inside. Inside the cave, faint crystals glowed on the walls, tiny sparks of living fire pulsing with heat. Eli touched one and it flickered brighter. "What are these?" he asked. "Heartstones," she said. "They grow where the planet bleeds energy. My people use them for weapons." "Beautiful," Eli murmured. "Deadly," she corrected. He grinned. "That depends on who holds them." Vara turned away, hiding a smile she didn't want him to see. The chase. Suddenly, a loud boom echoed through the canyon. The patrols had found the crash site. Blue searchlights swept across the desert floor. Vara's heat flared in alarm. "They're here," she whispered. Eli pressed a button on his broken wristband. "My distress beacon." "They'll track it, then destroy it," she said quickly. He nodded and smashed it against the cave wall. The device sparked and died, but the flash was enough. Outside, the patrol ships changed direction. Vara's eyes widened. "They've seen us." Without thinking, she scooped him up and ran. Her giant steps shook dust from the cliffs. Laser lights sliced the sky behind her. The air screamed with heat and metal. Rocks exploded near her feet. She leaped over a canyon ridge, her body glowing brighter, her energy rising. Eli held onto her armor, shouting, "You're glowing, like fire." "Because I am fire," she answered, voice like thunder. She reached the edge of a deep ravine and jumped. For a moment they were weightless, the stars above, fire below. They landed hard on the far side. The patrols circled overhead, searching, then flew away, fooled by her heat signature echoing in the canyon. Breathing heavy, Vara set him down. Her skin shimmered from the effort, golden steam rising from her shoulders. Eli stared in awe. "You just outran ships." She looked down at him. "And broke every law of my people." The connection silence filled the canyon again. Only their hearts beat, one fast, one deep. Eli took a cautious step closer. "You saved me twice now. Why?" Vara looked at him for a long time. The answer came from somewhere deep inside her. Because, she said slowly, you smiled when no one else ever did. For a moment, the world stopped. Two beings from different stars stood in the heat of an alien night, one made of fire, one made of hope, and somewhere far above, the first human distress signal reached the outer orbit of Vorthar 9. Ships were coming, not all of them friendly. The desert slept under red light. Vara and Eli sat deep inside the hidden cave where the walls glowed with slow golden fire. Outside, the air shimmered with danger. Alien patrols still searched the skies, but inside there was silence. A strange, living silence that made them both listen to their hearts. Vara watched the human. His skin looked fragile under the warm light, his breath soft, his eyes bright. He was studying one of the heartstones, the living crystals that pulsed from the walls. When he touched one, it flickered. Not red like usual, but a soft blue glow matching his human pulse. She frowned. It reacts to you, Eli smiled faintly. Maybe it likes me. It shouldn't, she said. Heartstones burn everything they touch. He held up his hand. But not me. Vara stepped closer, towering above him. Her own body heat made the air ripple like liquid. Her hand hovered near his, close enough that his hair moved from the warmth. Maybe your body is made of something different, she said, half to herself. Or maybe, Eli whispered, I'm not afraid to feel your heat. Vara froze. No one had ever said words like that to her. Not her kind, not her enemies, not anyone. Her fire dimmed again, unsure what to do with the strange softness inside her. The experiment Eli pulled a small scanner from his suit and pointed it toward the wall. The device blinked red, reading energy waves from the heartstones. These crystals, and they're alive, he murmured. They react to emotion, not just temperature. Vara tilted her head. Emotion? Look. He smiled up at her and pressed the scanner toward her chest. The screen flashed wild, red, gold, orange, all mixed. Your energy changes when you feel, he said. When you talk, when you look at me. Her lips curved slightly. And what does your scanner say now? That I'm standing next to a star, Eli said, half laughing. Vara didn't laugh, but her eyes softened. She crouched lower, her face now close to his. Her heat rolled gently around him like a warm wind. For a moment, their worlds felt like one. Fire and flesh, power and pulse. Then a sudden sound broke the moment. A faint metallic click echoed through the cave. Vara spun around instantly. Her hearing, sharper than any sensor, caught the sound again. Movement, mechanical, outside the tunnel. Someone's here, she whispered. The intruder's shadow moved near the entrance. Blue lights shimmered, alien armor. Vara's eyes narrowed. A patrol drone, she said. They found us. Eli stepped back. Can we fight it? She shook her head. It sends signals faster than I can destroy it. Once it sees you, the council will know. The drone floated inside, humming low, scanning the walls. Vara's heartstones flickered red, reacting to her rising energy. Stay behind me, she ordered. Her body flared with golden fire. The light filled the cave, reflecting on her armor. The drone's sensor locked onto her, sending a warning beep. Before it could fire, Vara raised her hand and released a pulse of pure heat. The air itself bent. The drone melted mid-air, dripping metal to the floor. Eli covered his face. You just vaporized it. She turned slowly.
Now they'll know exactly where we are. The flight outside, thunder rolled us engines.
Multiple ships descending fast. Eli looked panicked. We can't outrun them all. Vara's eyes blazed. No, but I can hide us. She knelt and pressed her glowing hand to the cave floor. The rock shifted, rumbling. A circle of molten energy formed around them. The ground swallowed them whole, sealing the cave above. Darkness fell. Eli could barely breathe. What did you do? Her voice came through the dark. I connected to the planet. The ground listens to my kind, but not for long. Soft light from her body painted the walls gold again. Eli stared at her in awe. You're not just heat. You're part of this world. Vara's expression turned distant. My kind was born from its fire. But we lost what it means to feel it, you reminded me. He smiled faintly. Then maybe we're both lost. The connection silence again. Only their breathing. Eli touched his chest, feeling the vibration of her heat through the rock. Vara, he said softly, why help me? You risk everything. Her gaze locked with his. Because your courage burns hotter than my fire. The words hung between them, simple, honest, dangerous. He stepped closer, close enough to feel her warmth kiss his skin. "You think that's courage?" he asked. "Maybe it's something else." She tilted her head. "What else?" He hesitated, then whispered, "Maybe I just can't stop looking at you." For a heartbeat, even the planet seemed to pause. The crystals pulsed, brighter, alive, reacting to them both. Their colors mixed, red and blue swirling into a single golden flame. And somewhere far above, in the night sky, alien communication towers detected a strange energy surge from the desert. The council would see it soon. They would come. But for now, inside that hidden world of heat and heartstones, a human and a giantess stood together, unaware that their touch had just awakened something older and far more powerful than either world had ever known. The night burned quietly above the sands of Vorthar 9. But deep beneath the surface, where molten veins pulsed like a living heart, two figures hid from an empire. Vara and Eli sat in the faint light of the heartstones. The glow flickered across her golden skin, across his tired human face. For a while it almost looked peaceful. Almost. Vara's mind wasn't still. Every vibration in the ground told her that the world outside was moving. Ships landing, drones scanning, soldiers spreading like ants. Her people were hunting, and the scent of rebellion led straight to her. The warning, a faint whisper, echoed through the tunnel. Not from the air, but from the stones themselves. It was a voice only Vara could hear. "Vara," it murmured, distorted and sharp, "you have broken the code. You protected an outsider." She froze. Her heart pounded like molten thunder. "Who sends this message?" "Carix," came the reply. Her old commander, her oldest friend. Eli noticed her change. "What's wrong?" She turned slowly. "They found us, and it's someone I once trusted. Can we escape?" he asked quickly. Vara stared into the shadows. "Escape? No, we stand between two worlds that both want to erase us." The betrayal moment later, the ground shook. From the tunnel ahead, blue light spilled, bright, metallic, cold. 3 alien warriors stepped forward, armor humming, faces hidden behind steel masks. And behind them, Carix. He was taller than most, his armor black with red veins of fire running across it. His eyes glowed with fury. "Vara," he said, voice echoing like thunder in a storm. "You shame your kind." She rose to full height, towering over him. "I saved a life." "You saved an invader," he snapped. "A creature who came to steal our world's energy." Eli stepped forward, his hands raised. "I didn't come to steal anything. My ship crashed." "Silence, human." Carix's voice cracked like lightning. "You think your small body can hold the power of Vorthar 9? Vara's fists clenched. "He speaks truth." Carix looked at her, pain flickering behind his anger. "You used to burn with pride, Vara. Now you burn for a mortal." "I burn," she said slowly, "for something your heart has forgotten. Mercy." For a second, neither moved. Then Carix lifted his arm. The warriors aimed their heat lances. "Then you will burn for real." The battle beneath. The first shot hit the wall. The cave exploded in a rain of molten dust. Eli ducked behind a rock. Vara moved faster, her hand slicing through fire, her energy flaring brighter than before. She struck the first warrior with a wave of golden heat. His armor melted in a heartbeat. The second fired again, but her body absorbed the blast like sunlight on metal. Carix charged, blade glowing white. Their weapons clashed, light against light. Sparks of molten energy fell like rain. "You fight for a human?" he roared. "I fight for choice," she shouted back, blocking his blade with her burning palm. The ground cracked under them. Heartstones shattered, releasing wild streams of red fire. Eli saw the chaos and the danger. The broken stones were overheating. If they burst, the entire tunnel would collapse. He ran toward a control panel embedded in the cave wall, an old mining console. He began pressing buttons, rerouting power lines. Vara saw him and shouted, "Eli, stay back! I can stop the overload." He yelled, "You'll die." He smiled, that same small, fearless smile that had changed everything. "Then it's a good reason." The choice Eli's hands moved fast. The console sparked, burning his gloves, but he didn't stop. The lights across the cave turned blue. The rising energy stabilized, but the control board exploded, throwing him backward. Vara screamed his name. In that moment, her fire turned white, brighter than 1,000 suns. The shockwave threw the warriors to the ground. Carrick stumbled, blinded by her light.
Vara, stop!
You'll destroy yourself. But she didn't hear him. Her power burst outward, sealing the cave with a molten shield. The warriors trapped outside pounded against the rock, their weapons useless. Inside the sealed chamber, silence returned. Vara dropped to her knees beside Eli. His face was pale, his suit burned, but he was alive. Barely. Her massive hand hovered near his chest, trembling. "Why?" she whispered. "Why would you risk everything?" His eyes opened weakly. "Because you're worth something more than fear." Vara's breath caught. Her fire dimmed, turning soft and golden. She lifted him gently, holding him like a fragile piece of her own heart. Outside, Carrick's voice echoed faintly through the rock. "Run while you can, Vara. The council will come. They will burn the desert to find you." She looked toward the sealed entrance, her eyes full of sorrow and resolve. Then let them come. The flight through fire. Carrying Eli in her arms, Vara turned deeper into the tunnels, into paths no one but her kind could survive. Flames licked her feet as she walked through molten streams, the heat bending around her body like a shield. Every step she took sent tremors through the planet's veins. The heartstones whispered, glowing brighter as if recognizing her defiance. Eli stirred, whispering, "Where are we going?" "To the core," she said softly. "Where no one dares follow. Where your world and mine first touched. The true heart of Vorthar 9. He tried to smile. "You sound like a legend." She looked down at him. "Maybe we are." Above them, the desert skies filled with ships. The hunt had begun, but so had something far more dangerous. Something that could melt armies, or save galaxies. And as the first dawn rose over the red horizon, the story of the giantess and the human burned brighter than ever, a forbidden fire that no empire could ever contain. The tunnels under Vorthar 9 glowed like the veins of a living god. Lava flowed in rivers of light, and the air trembled with power older than stars. Here, far from any map, Vara carried Eli through the burning corridors toward the planet's heart. The human was weak but breathing. His body, soft and pale, looked impossibly fragile in her giant hands. Yet even in pain, his eyes never lost that spark, that strange light that made her want to protect him from everything, even herself. The heart below. They reached a great chamber, vast as a cathedral, pulsing with golden fire. In the center rose a glowing pool of liquid energy, the heart of Vorthar 9. Every breath Vara took vibrated with its rhythm. She laid Eli on a stone ledge near the pool. "This place," she whispered, "is where my people were born. The first Heatborn came from this light." Eli tried to sit up. "It's beautiful, beautiful," she said softly, "and deadly. Even my kind fear its touch." He looked at her, half smiling despite his exhaustion. "Then maybe we're the same." Her gaze softened. "You are strange, human. You walk through fire and call it beauty." Eli coughed weakly. "Maybe I just see things differently." She turned her eyes to the heart pool, its glow painting her skin like molten gold. Her reflection flickered beside his, two forms, one burning, one fading. She whispered, "You shouldn't have come here. Your body can't survive this heat." Eli chuckled faintly. "And yet I'm still smiling." The healing flame Vara's eyes glowed with worry. There was something she could do, something forbidden. The ancient ritual of her kind, sharing the flame. It was a merging of life energy, dangerous even among Heatborn. But for a human, it could kill him instantly, or heal him completely. She hesitated. Her heartstone pulse beat faster. "If I give you my fire," she said slowly, "you may burn." Eli's voice was soft but steady. "And if you don't?" "You'll die," she whispered. He smiled faintly. "Then give me the fire, Vara." Her chest tightened. "You don't understand." "I trust you," he said. That broke her. Vara lifted her hand. A ball of pure light formed in her palm, glowing white-hot. The chamber itself seemed to hold its breath. She lowered it toward his chest. The light touched him, and the world changed. Eli gasped. The fire entered him like lightning, flooding his veins with gold. For a moment he screamed, not from pain, but from the sheer force of life. The air shimmered, rocks cracked, the heart pool roared. Then silence. When Vara opened her eyes, Eli was glowing softly, alive. His burns were gone. His breath was calm. He looked at his hands in wonder. "I can feel everything," Vara's light dimmed. You have part of me now, she said quietly. My flame is in you, he met her gaze. Then we share the same heart. The warning from above. The peace didn't last. From far above, deep echoes reached the chamber. The thunder of ships, heavy engines shaking the crust. The council armada had found the lower tunnels. Vara's eyes flashed. They're coming. They'll burn this whole region to reach us. Eli stood, steadier now, fire still glowing beneath his skin. Then we don't run. We show them something they've never seen. What do you mean? She asked. He pointed at the heart pool. This energy, your world hides it, fears it. But together we can control it. Vara shook her head. It's too powerful. It destroyed our creators. Maybe, Eli said, his voice calm but fierce. It just needed two hearts, not one. For a moment she only looked at him, a small human standing inside a storm daring to challenge gods. She felt something rise inside her, pride, fear, love, all tangled like flame and wind. Then we try, she whispered. The union of fire. They stood at the pool's edge. Eli reached out his hand. Vara hesitated. Her touch could still kill him. But he didn't pull back. I'm not afraid, he said. Slowly she placed her massive hand in his. The moment their skin met, the heart pool exploded with light. Energy surged up around them, spiraling, wrapping their bodies in glowing threads. The ground shook. The air screamed. But they didn't let go. Eli's human pulse synced with her fire. 2 heartbeats, 1 rhythm. Their forms blurred, light merging gold and blue until it turned pure white. From the surface of Vorthar 9, ships saw the explosion, a beam of light shooting through the desert sky, too bright to look at. In the Council's command ship, Karik stared in horror. She's awakening the heart. Stop her before the planet burns. But it was too late. The aftermath. When the light finally faded, the chamber was still. Vara stood tall, her body calm, her fire pulsing softly. Beside her, Eli knelt, alive but changed. His veins glowed faintly gold, his eyes burning with a soft inner fire. What happened? He whispered. You carry the flame now, she said. You are part of Vorthar 9. Part of me. Eli looked at her hand resting near his. Then maybe now, they'll see we don't have to destroy each other. Vara turned her gaze upward, where distant rumblings echoed through the tunnels. The Council won't see peace. They'll see threat. Then we'll make them see, Eli said quietly. Human and heatborn, together. She smiled, a rare and dangerous smile. Fire and flesh, outside. The sands trembled as the alien fleet descended, and deep below, 2 beings, one born of heat, one born of hope, stood ready to defy the stars. The dawn over Vorthar 9 burned red, not from the sun, but from war. The sky shimmered with hundreds of ships, their metal wings slicing through clouds of ash. From the ground, fire reflected on their hulls like blood on glass. And beneath that storm of light, Vara stood, the giantess once feared by her own kind. Beside her, Eli, the first human to ever touch her flame, now glowed faintly with power. Together they faced the end of 2 worlds, the silence before battle. The desert stretched silent before them. Sand rippled like molten gold under Vara's feet. Her eyes glowed brighter than the rising sun. She looked toward the sky, hearing the low hum of approaching ships. The Council armada. They're coming fast, Eli said, checking the scanner on his wrist. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Vara nodded slowly. They will not listen. They fear what they do not understand. Then we show them, Eli said. She turned to him, small, human, yet now burning with her same light. You carry my flame. But your body is fragile, he smiled. So is peace. But we fight for it anyway. That made her pause. For the first time, she realized he wasn't just surviving beside her. He was becoming something more, something her people would never understand. The first strike, the first blast hit the sand like thunder. A wave of molten air threw rocks into the sky. Ships descended, firing beams that tore the dunes apart. Vara raised her hand. Her body flared golden, a shield of pure heat spreading from her skin. The beams hit and scattered like sparks off the sun. Eli ran beside her, firing bursts of plasma from his broken weapon, each shot glowing with strange, gold-blue energy, her energy now living inside him. One of the ships dropped soldiers, tall, armored, heat-born warriors, led by Carix, his black armor burning red with fury. Vara, he roared through the comms. You betray your kind for a human parasite. She stepped forward, her voice deep and steady. No, I betray the hate that made us monsters. Curix's blade ignited in flames. Then die with him. The clash of fire, the desert exploded in chaos. Vara and Curix charged, their heat waves colliding with a shock that cracked the air. Each strike shook the sky, each blast brighter than lightning. Around them, alien soldiers attacked, but Eli moved with new strength, his body glowing, his steps leaving sparks in the sand. Vara saw him through the smoke, small, yet fearless, his every move guided by something beyond logic. He wasn't fighting for victory. He was fighting for her. Curix swung his burning blade, but Vara caught it in her bare hand. The metal melted instantly. Her eyes blazed. You think power makes us gods? But real power is mercy. She slammed her fist into the ground, releasing a pulse of white heat. The explosion rippled across the battlefield, blinding, pure, alive. Every ship above trembled. Every soldier fell. And in the center of that storm, Eli stood untouched, the fire protecting him like a living shield. The awakening Curix dropped to one knee, his armor melting. What have you done? Vara looked to the sky. The clouds had turned gold, swirling like living light. The heart of Vorthar 9 is awake, she said quietly. It feels us. It remembers. Eli felt the ground pulse beneath him, a heartbeat matching his own. His veins glowed, connecting to the desert, to the planet itself. It's merging with me, he said, astonished. Your world. It's alive. It always was, Vara said softly. But now it listens. Above them, the armada opened fire again. Dozens of beams rained down. Eli lifted his arms, and the fire answered. Flames rose from the desert like waves from an ocean. They twisted around him, swirling upward, striking the ships mid-air. Metal melted. Engines burst. The sky turned to fire. Vara watched him, a human wrapped in light, commanding the same force that once belonged only to gods. Her eyes softened with both pride and fear. Eli, enough. You'll burn yourself. He turned, smiling weakly. Then we'll burn together. The decision. Curix crawled forward, armor broken, his voice hoarse. Vara, you'll destroy everything. The planet cannot hold that much energy. Vara looked at Eli, who was trembling now, the light flickering wildly from his body. The fire was too strong, and the merge was overloading him. She rushed forward and caught him before he fell. Eli, stay with me. He looked at her through fading eyes. If I let go, it all explodes, her heart cracked. Then let me take it. Give it back, he shook his head slowly. If you take it, you die. Then I die for something real, she said. She pressed her forehead against his. Their lights blended again, gold and blue brighter than ever. The world around them roared, the air trembling like a living heart. The firestorm from orbit, the entire planet looked like a star. Vorthar 9 blazed white for 10 full seconds, then went dark. On the surface, silence fell. The armada ships hung frozen in the sky, their weapons dead, their power gone. In the center of the scorched desert lay a vast circle of glassed sand. At its heart, two shapes intertwined. Eli's body was still. Vara's glow had dimmed, her fire barely a flicker. But as the wind moved the dust away, her eyes opened, faintly golden. She touched his chest. His heartbeat was weak, but there. She smiled, tears glowing like tiny stars. You lived. And from the horizon, the first sunrise of peace touched the ruins, light reflecting on the quiet remains of war. The war was over. The planet Vorthar 9 was silent again, but changed forever. Where once the desert burned red with warfire, now it shimmered gold under a calm new sun. No ships, no soldiers, only wind and memory. Beneath the glassed sand, in the center of a vast crater, two beings lay side by side. One born of flame, one born of flesh. Vara, the heat-born giantess. Eli, the human who smiled at her when no one else dared. The awakening. The first sound was her breath. Slow, deep, uncertain. Vara's eyes flickered open. Gold light glowed faintly in the dust. For a moment she didn't know if she was alive or dreaming. Then she felt it, a weak heartbeat beside her. She turned her head. Eli lay still, his skin pale but his chest rising softly. He was alive. Barely, but alive. Vara tried to rise, but her strength was gone. Her body, once blazing like a star, now dimmed to faint warmth. She looked at her hands. The glow that once melted steel now pulsed like the last embers of a dying fire. "You gave me everything," she whispered, looking at Eli. "Even when you had nothing left to give." Her words trembled in the hot air. "And I gave you the flame. Not to destroy, but to live." She touched his cheek gently. The fire in her skin no longer burned him. Her heat had changed, now soft, healing, human in its warmth. The world above days passed. The sky above Vorthar 9 turned from crimson to blue, something it hadn't done for centuries. The heart of the planet, once feared, now pulsed calmly deep below, balanced by human and heat-borne energy joined together. Across the wastelands, surviving heat-borne warriors emerged from their shattered ships. Their weapons were dead, their armor cooled, their rage gone. They looked upon their burned world and felt something new, silence that didn't frighten them. And high above the horizon, human rescue ships entered orbit. They expected death. Instead, they found peace. The legend begins Vara built a small shelter beside the heart crater, using crystal shards and melted glass. Eli remained unconscious for many days. She guarded him like a sun guards its moon. Sometimes she would talk softly, her deep voice echoing across the silent plain. "My kind used to believe we were born from fire to rule, but you taught me a fire is not made to rule. It's made to warm." Her eyes softened as she watched him. "No alien male ever dared come near me. They called me curse weapon monster. But you, a fragile creature of water and breath, dared to smile." She paused, a tear glowing gold as it fell onto the sand. "I will never forget that smile." The return on the 9th day, Eli stirred. His eyes opened slowly, blue light reflecting the golden sun above. Vara's heart jumped, for the first time in her life out of joy, not fear. "You're awake," she whispered. Eli blinked, his voice weak but smiling. "You look beautiful." She laughed softly, the sound like wind in molten glass. "You humans never learn." He sat up slowly, looking around. "Where's the war?" "Gone," she said. The council fell silent. "The heart sleeps again. Your kind are coming." Eli looked at her glowing skin, dim but alive. "And you?" "You're fading." She shook her head gently. "Not fading, changing. Your flame burns in me now, just as mine lives in you." He touched his chest, faint gold still pulsing under his skin. "So we share one life." "Yes," she said softly. "One heart, two worlds." The choice. When the human fleet finally landed, soldiers approached the crater, cautious, weapons drawn. They froze when they saw her, the massive figure standing beside a human, her eyes calm, her body no longer blazing. Eli stepped forward, his voice strong. "She's not your enemy. She saved us all." But fear still ruled small minds. The commander raised his weapon. "She's a threat. We can't take risks." Vara's gaze was steady. "He speaks truth. Without me, this world would have burned." The commander hesitated, then slowly lowered his rifle. Perhaps it was her tone, or perhaps the faint smile on her lips, the same one Eli had given her once. That was the day humans and Heatborn stopped pointing weapons at each other. That was the day they began to talk. The farewell years later, when the desert had turned green again and cities began to rise, legends spread across both species. They spoke of the giantess who tamed the sun and the human who smiled at a god. But Vara did not stay. One night under twin moons, she walked to the far edge of the desert. Eli followed, calling her name. She turned to him, her eyes glowing softly. "My place is here," she said. "The planet still whispers. It needs a guardian." He shook his head. "Then I'll stay too," she smiled. "No, Eli, you belong to the stars. Tell them what we learned. Tell them fire and flesh can live as one." He stepped closer, voice breaking. "How will I find you again?" She leaned down, placing her massive hand over his heart. "You already have," she whispered. And before the dawn rose, she was gone, her light drifting into the desert wind, scattering like golden dust across the horizon. Epilogue. The Smile Among Stars. Years later, Captain Eli Marin flew alone across deep space. The engines of his ship glowed gold, powered by the same energy that once burned inside Vara. Sometimes when he passed a dying star, he swore he could hear a heartbeat in the static. And sometimes in the reflection of his cockpit glass, he saw her, a tall, radiant, smiling faintly through the light. He smiled back every time, because once on a world of fire, no alien dared face her flame. Only a human dared smile back, and that smile changed the stars forever.